Here's who it's good news for, though. It's good news for the second best free agent on the team.
That's right.
There's only one tag.
Right.
It's very good news. And we'll start with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, let's go
As
there.
expected,
Yeah.
safety Antoine Winfield Jr. gets the franchise tag, which means Baker Mayfield doesn't, which means just like Kirk Cousins, just like Russell Wilson, who will be released. He's not a traditional free agent, but he'll be released. Just like all of the other quarterbacks, and there are a lot of them out there, which is one of the reasons why the Bears can't unload Justin Fields for draft picks.
Right.
There are a lot of quarterbacks out there. Unless Baker Mayfield already has a deal that everyone is keeping quiet about, he's got a straight shot next week, Monday, noon Eastern. Any team out there for the second straight year, any team that wants Baker Mayfield can go get him because the Bucs tag the guy that we knew they were going to tag in Antoine Winfield Jr., all-pro safety, one of the best defensive players in the sport. I think he took the third spot on my Defensive Player of the Year ballot this year. He was phenomenal.
Baller.
And is phenomenal.
Yes, he is.
So they have to do what they have to do to keep him around.
That's right.
And let's start with him. I mean, again, it's one of the no-brainers for you. This guy's the heart and soul of the defense.
Right. I mean, he's no question. I mean, to your point, he's definitely one of the 3-4 best safeties in football. He was my first team All-Pro pick, without a doubt, Mike. I'm there with you, right? I think this one goes into, and this is where, this conversation is interesting and fun, and how teams kind of figure it all out and flush it all out in the context of all that. But I think this is where relationships really come into play, too. We kind of hit on this with Kansas City and Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed last week, right? This is one where, hey, wait, Antoine Winfield hasn't been paid yet. He was a second-round pick, right? So they know he's going to be thirsty, hungry, whatever, acronym you want to throw in there, right? With, like, getting money and getting paid and getting his worth, right? And he plays a physical brand of football, too. So he knows, like, the shelf life of his career, it ain't forever. And then I think you play into, wait, we know Baker. We've been talking to him. We've been talking to his agent, right? And I think also where, the teams can use it against a player like Baker, and especially the quarterback situation a little bit, is like, man, do you really want to go somewhere else and have to reprove yourself and relearn an offense and, try to get timing and rhythm with a new group of receivers again and all that, right? So, I think there's probably some back channel conversations, like you said, maybe a frame of a contract that's already out there to where it's like, okay, hey, we're going down the right, path here as far as that's concerned. And, Baker knows, like, wait, I've proven myself here. These people like me. They want me, right? So there's value to that. And I think, when you flush it all out, that's why they tag Antoine Winfield and they play the calculated risk of, we know Baker, we know his people, we know he likes being here, and this situation's pretty good for him too. We'll get it all fixed. And I think that's what we got working here in Tampa.
Yeah, and they have to have a certain level of confidence that there's enough mutual interest in keeping Baker Mayfield on the team that they're going to do it. And also, this is the benefit of tampering. Last week, opportunity to find out who, if anyone, is interested in pursuing Baker Mayfield. And
like, Mike, are you going to trade in? Are you going to trade in the if you're a Baker, are you going to trade in the Bucs for New England? Right? I mean, yeah, maybe if they're going to pay you some like crazy amount of money, right? But you think of some of the situations that are out there. You go like, hey, Baker, you going to roll the dice and go to New England? You going to go to Atlanta? Right? I mean, those are unknowns. You just went to the playoffs here. You've kind of set something up here a little bit, right? So I would think that's got to be a part of it.
Somebody asked me last week in
what?
one of the various conversations we had at the Scouting Combine, what do you pay Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
What is the number?
Yeah.
What's the number if you're the Buccaneers? I like to think it lands between $30 and $40 million per year. That's a broad range, I know. Like between 30 and 35, I don't know. His ship has finally come in financially.
Yeah.
He bet on himself 2 straight years. In 2022, he lost. In 23, he won. Sort of. He only wins depending upon how he parlays that $4 million base package from last year with some incentives he earned, but not all of them. I think a couple million on top of it. How do you turn that into your next contract? And if you aren't getting big money offers from other teams, the Bucs hold all the cards. And this was a team that had Tom Brady at $25 million a year.
Yeah, right. No.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
Now, the market wasn't 55, but still, it felt like a bargain for the Bucs then. I don't know how high they go here. I'd like to think it at least starts with a 3.
I agree
it's
there.
the Phillip Rivers dynamic. The year he went to the Colts and he got 25 when Drew Brees was getting 25 and Tom Brady was getting 25. It's like, you need to be able to send the message to the world that this is our starting quarterback. So it has to at least, I think, start with a 3. The question is it 3-0? Is it 3-5? Is it 3-3? What are the first 2 numbers of this contract? And I think the reality is, unless some other team wakes up right now and contacts Baker Mayfield's agents and makes an offer that makes him say, yeah, I'll go there. This is what they're offering?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll go there.
Right.
I mean, I've thrown him in the mix as a potential Kirk Cousins replacement in Minnesota.
Oh, I hear you. I think he fit that offense for sure. No doubt about it. I'm with you there. He fit Kevin O'Connell? Yeah, no doubt.
And what a kick in the ass he would be for that franchise. They saw it last year, week 1, on that critical drive when the Bucs were up 20-17.
Yeah, right.
Trying to keep the ball and ice the game. He lowers his shoulder on 3rd and 2, and then he makes that throw to Chris Godwin where Godwin's kind of falling down, diving out of bounds sideways on 3rd and long to ice the game. The Vikings experienced it last year. So if you are, and we've said this, look, if the Vikings are watching Kirk Cousins take off and fly to Atlanta, they better have a plane ready to land in Minneapolis. And so you have to at least be exploring Baker Mayfield. If you get Baker for 35 when you're going to say no to Kirk at 45, again, dollar for dollar, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
when you look at what Kevin O'Connell can do with a quarterback, if he has access to him for the full year and he stays healthy throughout the season, he could turn Baker Mayfield into a pro. Well, not a Pro Bowler, a potential All-Pro.
Yeah, well, Baker's got talent. We know that, right? We both were 2 people last year going, he's a starting quarterback in football. He got screwed over about as bad as you can get screwed over. As far as, a football situation goes with Cleveland and then the Panthers and then the Rams and all that. It's tough. It is. He's got an ability to lead men that is NFL starting quality, no doubt about it, right? He's got a grittiness and a toughness and a mental attitude that is NFL starting quarterback, no doubt about it. And then he has a right arm and ability to make throws and plays that is a really good NFL starting quarterback arm, right? I'm not going to say it's Josh Allen or Mahomes, but it's one of those where when you see Baker Mayfield throw the ball in person, you go, that's as good as, anybody in the sport other than maybe, 3 or 4 guys other than that. So he's got all those intangibles, tangibles, everything there, right? And that's where I think we get back to they got to feel very comfortable about where they are in the Baker Mayfield conversation because of the things you just threw out there. I'm sure he's given them, a little bit of a, wink, wink. I want to be back here. And I would think that some numbers or a groundwork of a contract has been thrown out, into him a little bit so he has a feel here, because, you don't want that to happen. So, I think they know what they got, and I think you're there in the money aspect too. I would expect it 35 to 40, maybe 3 years, 4 years, something again where he hasn't proven himself consistently like a Kirk Cousins yet, right? As far as year after year after year, but I do think he has that ability. He just needs to be in some of the situations Cousins has been in. And I would expect it to be something like that, where they could get out after 2 years if they feel like things are going south or not going the right way.
$17.1 million is what Antoine Winfield Jr. is going to make, which, again, takes me back to the whole idea that there's something wrong with this system that's never going to change. The NFL is never going to give up the ability to freeze a player in place like Antoine Winfield Jr. for $17.1 million. I mean, this is his chance to get his reward for everything he's done. The NFL doesn't think of it that way. We have this tool. We're going to use it to keep this guy from going to the market and getting what he's earned here elsewhere. I mean, they won the Super Bowl in 2020 ultimately, and I know it's a total team effort, but if Winfield doesn't make that play on Jared Cook when the Saints are beating them by 10.
That's right. They're not going to they're not going to go to the NFC Championship
and they're
game.
Driving for more.
Right.
They're driving for more.
Right.
Antoine Winfield, as a rookie, rips that ball out from Jared Cook. And again, you can't say he's the only reason they won the Super Bowl, but that is a very clear, bright line. But for that play, Tom Brady doesn't have number 7. But for that play, the Bucs don't get the chance to go to Green Bay. It would have been the Saints at Green Bay. It would have been Aaron Rodgers in that Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes, not Tom Brady. Antoine Winfield makes that play. And that's the thing. As an employee, you want to feel valued. You want to feel appreciated. You want to feel like they recognize the contributions you've made. Getting franchise tagged is not the message.
Yeah, this is the one that
Antoine
hurts.
Winfield deserves to get.
This is the one that hurts, right? I mean, we talk about all the time, like, oh, why does this level of player, right? Maybe a B-level player, his time to get a contract. Why should he up the guy we know is the best at that position or the A-plus player? This is not that case. This is a guy here where, like, no, if he signed a new contract, he should probably he's worthy of being the highest paid safety in football, right? So what's it? Derwin James right now at 19 and change is leading the way. Minkah Fitzpatrick at 18 and change is second, right? Winfield is the type of player in a part of his career where if it weren't for the franchise tag, he would have signed a long-term deal. He would have got probably something in the 40s, as far as 40s, maybe even 50 million guaranteed, and his average year per salary would not be what the Bucs are getting it for right now at 17-1. It would be in the 20 range, maybe 19-8. I don't know, somewhere around there, but it would probably up Derwin James. So, it's certainly hurting his checkbook at the end of the day. No matter how you kind of look at the situation.
He also might be a player who transcends positional lines. He might be a guy who can say, you should pay me like a top defensive player, kind of the argument Micah Parsons will make, although he plays a position that has a higher annual average than safety. But this gets back to the point you make that it's kind of out of whack that the quarterback, we're talking about Baker Mayfield getting $35 million a year, and now Winfield's at 17-1.
Yeah,
and
he's not twice as
made
good.
19 or 20.
Right.
Yeah, he's not twice as valuable to the team. It's why Julio Jones first had a real issue with the Falcons when he's making 15 and Matt Ryan's making 30, and he's like, something's wrong with his picture.
Yeah.
This guy's not twice as valuable.
He's like, wait,
to the team
he throws it to
as
me for 5 yards, and I run for 70, and he gets $2 million for that, and I only get 1? I don't get that.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.